I found out my daughter wasn't mine on her 5th birthday, not through a DNA test, not through confession, through a birthday card that said, "Happy birthday to my beautiful daughter," signed by a man I'd never heard of. My hands went numb. The card slipped through my fingers and hit the floor. The question wasn't, is this real? The question was, how many people at this party already knew? Let me back up. My name is Marcus Chun. I'm 32 years old, software engineer, living in Austin, Texas. I met my wife, Jessica, at a tech conference in 2017. She was working registration. I was presenting on cloud architecture. She had this laugh that made everyone around her smile. We dated for 8 months before I proposed. Got married in spring of 2019. Jessica got pregnant 3 months after the wedding. I was over the moon. We talked about kids on our second date. I wanted to be a father more than anything. When Lily was born in March 2020, right as the pandemic hit, I took 3-month paternity leave, changed every diaper I could, did the night feedings, read to her every single night. She had Jessica's eyes, but my smile, or so I thought. Looking back, there was one thing that should have warned me. Jessica's ex-boyfriend Derek kept commenting on her social media posts about Lily. Things like, she's beautiful and looks just like I imagined. I asked Jessica about it once. She said Derek was just being nice, that they stayed friendly after their breakup. It made sense. I'm not the jealous type. I trusted her completely. Fast forward 5 years. March 2025. Lily's 5th birthday party. We rented out a pavilion at the park. Invited 20 kids from her kindergarten class. Both our families, close friends. I was manning the grill, flipping burgers, feeling like the luckiest man alive. That's when Lily came running up to me holding a card and a wrapped present. "Daddy." This was on the present table, but it's not from the list. I wiped my hands on my apron and took the card. Plain white envelope. "Lily." Written in handwriting I didn't recognize. I opened it. The card had a cartoon unicorn on the front. Inside, in that same unfamiliar handwriting, "Happy birthday to my beautiful daughter. I think about you every day. I hope someday you'll know me. Love, always, Derek." My vision tunneled. The sound of the party faded to a high-pitched ringing. I read it again. And again. Derek. Jessica's ex-boyfriend Derek. My beautiful daughter. Not your friend's daughter, or wishing you well. My daughter. I looked up. Jessica was across the pavilion, laughing with her mother. She hadn't seen the card yet. My daughter was staring up at me, confused. She asked if I was okay. I told her everything was fine and that I'd open the present later. I slipped the card into my pocket. My heart was slamming against my ribs, so hard I thought I might pass out. I didn't confront Jessica at the party. I kept grilling, kept smiling, sang happy birthday, cut the cake, watched Lily blow out her candles. Every second felt like I was underwater. When the party ended, I helped clean up in complete silence. Jessica asked twice if something was wrong. I said I was just tired. That night, after we put Lily to bed, I sat on the couch staring at that card for an hour. Jessica came downstairs in her pajamas. She saw me holding the card. Her face went white. Not confused. Not curious. White, like she'd been caught. "Where did you get that?" It was on the present table. At our daughter's birthday party. She sat down slowly. Didn't reach for the card. Didn't try to explain it away. Just sat there staring at her hands. "How long have you known?" I asked. "Known what?" "Don't. Jessica, don't do that. How long have you known Lily is mine?" Silence. 10 seconds. 20. Then she started crying. Not the kind of crying you do when you're sad. The kind you do when you're cornered. Since before she was born. The room tilted. I stood up because I thought I might throw up. Since before she was born. That meant everything. Every moment. Every diaper. Every midnight feeding. Every time I told people she had my smile. All of it was built on a lie. "You knew the entire time?" She nodded. Still crying. Still not looking at me. "Were you going to tell me? Ever?" "I don't know. I thought it would be easier if you just never knew. Easier for who? For you? She finally looked up at me. Her face was red and blotchy. For everyone. You love her. You're her father in every way that matters. I didn't want to take that away from you. I laughed, actually laughed. A cold, bitter sound that didn't feel like it came from my body. You didn't want to take that away from me? You mean you didn't want to deal with the consequences of lying to me for 6 years? She stood up, reaching for me. I stepped back. She said my name. I held up my hand. Does Derek know? She hesitated. That told me everything. He knows. He's always known. My legs went weak. I sat back down on the couch. Derek knew. Derek knew he had a daughter. Derek had been watching from a distance while I raised his child, while I paid for everything, while I bonded with a little girl who had his DNA. How? My voice came out as a whisper. How did this happen? Jessica sat back down, keeping distance between us. She told me the timeline. She and Derek had dated for 2 years, broke up in early 2017. She met me that summer. We started dating. But she'd slept with Derek one more time in December 2017, right before Christmas. A closure thing. 2 weeks later, she slept with me for the first time on New Year's Eve. She found out she was pregnant in February 2018. She wasn't sure who the father was. But you married me anyway. I loved you. I do love you. You married me without telling me you might be pregnant with another man's child. I thought there was a chance she was yours. I really did. 50-50, right? And when she was born, when you saw her, you knew then. She nodded, whispered, yes. How? She looked exactly like Derek did in his baby pictures. His mom showed me once. The same nose, the same ears. I just knew. I stood up. I couldn't sit anymore. Couldn't be in the same room. I grabbed my keys and walked toward the door. Jessica called after me, asked where I was going. I didn't answer. I got in my car and drove. Ended up at a 24-hour diner on the east side. Sat in a booth until 3 a.m. drinking coffee I didn't taste. Staring at that birthday card. My beautiful daughter. Love, always, Derek. I didn't go home that night. Checked into a hotel off I-35. Lay on top of the covers staring at the ceiling. My phone buzzed 47 times. Text from Jessica. Calls. From Jessica. Voice messages I didn't listen to. Around 6 a.m., I made a decision. I wasn't going to fall apart. I wasn't going to make this messier than it had to be. I was going to be smart. I called my buddy Jason. He's a family attorney. Woke him up. Told him everything. He was quiet for a long time. Then said, don't sign anything. Don't agree to anything. Don't move out of the house. Come to my office at 9. At 9 a.m., I sat in Jason's office. He laid out the reality. Texas law says if you're married when a child is born, you're the legal father, even if DNA proves otherwise. But there are ways to challenge paternity. It's messy, it's expensive, and it would destroy Lily's sense of security. He asked me what I wanted. Full custody? Divorce? To walk away completely? To stay and fight for rights to a child who wasn't biologically mine? I didn't have an answer. So Jason told me to gather information first. Find out how deep this went. Who else knew? Whether Jessica and Derek had ongoing contact. Whether money had changed hands. Whether this was a one-time mistake or a coordinated deception. I needed to know everything before I could decide anything. I went home Tuesday afternoon. Jessica was in the kitchen. Lily was at kindergarten. Jessica tried to hug me. I moved past her, sat at the kitchen table, told her to sit down. She sat. I pulled out my phone and opened a notes app, told her I needed the full truth, every detail. No more lies. If she left anything out, if I found out later she lied again, I was gone and she'd never see me coming. She talked for 2 hours. Here's what I learned. Jessica and Derek had dated from 2015 to early 2017. They'd talked about marriage. He'd even looked at rings. But Derek had commitment issues. Kept pushing the timeline back. Finally, Jessica gave him an ultimatum, and he chose to walk away. Jessica was devastated. Then she met me, and I was everything Derek wasn't. Stable, ready for marriage and kids, emotionally available. But that one last time with Derek in December 2017, she'd gone to his apartment to get her stuff. One thing led to another. It meant nothing, she said, just old habits and familiarity. 2 weeks later, she and I slept together for the first time. When she found out she was pregnant in February, she panicked, did the math, realized it could be either of us. She chose not to tell me because she was terrified I'd leave. She wanted the stable life I offered. She wanted marriage and kids and a house in the suburbs. Derek couldn't give her that. I could. So you used me. No, I loved you. I still love you. You used me to build the life Derek wouldn't give you. She didn't deny it, just cried. I asked if Derek knew about the pregnancy. She nodded, said she told him when she was 6 weeks along. He didn't want to be involved. Said he wasn't ready to be a father. Told her to handle it. So she did. She married me, had the baby, put my name on the birth certificate, and Derek just accepted that. At first, yes, but then Lily was born and he saw pictures. He realized she was his, started reaching out, wanting updates, wanting to know things. Have you been in contact with him this whole time? She hesitated. That hesitation told me everything I needed to know. Yes, she'd been in contact with Derek for 5 years, sending pictures, sending updates, meeting him occasionally so he could see Lily from a distance, at parks, at the mall, places where he could watch her without me knowing. My hands clenched into fists under the table. You've been letting him watch our daughter? Like some kind of stalker? He's her biological father. He has a right. He has no rights. He walked away. You both decided I would be her father. You don't get to change the terms now because he's feeling sentimental. Jessica was sobbing, saying she didn't know what else to do. That Derek had been pressuring her for more access. That he wanted to be in Lily's life. That he'd sent a birthday card without asking her first. She was scared I'd find out. Scared everything would fall apart. Too late. It already had. I asked who else knew. She said Derek's family knew. His mother, his sister. They'd all known since Lily was born. I asked about her family. She said her mother knew. Her sister knew. They'd convinced her not to tell me. Said it would just cause problems. Said what I didn't know wouldn't hurt me. Said Derek would eventually move on and forget about Lily. But he hadn't forgotten. He'd been circling for 5 years. And now he wanted in. I left the house again. Couldn't breathe in there. Drove to my parents' house in Round Rock. My mom took one look at my face and knew something was catastrophically wrong. I told her everything. She sat down hard on the couch. My dad had to sit down too. They asked if I was sure. I showed them the card. Told them what Jessica had admitted. My mother's face went through shock, anger, and then something harder. Protectiveness. What are you going to do? I don't know yet. My dad, always a practical one, said, "You love Lily?" Of course I love Lily. She's my daughter. Then that's what matters. Biology is just biology. You raised her. You're her father. But I raised her based on a lie. She doesn't know it's a lie. To her, your dad. Are you going to punish her for her mother's choices? I didn't have an answer for that. Because he was right. Lily was innocent. She didn't ask for any of this. She didn't know Derek existed. She didn't know her whole life was built on a lie. She was 5 years old. She loved me, called me daddy, ran to me when she scraped her knee, asked me to check for monsters under her bed. But every time I looked at her now, I'd know she wasn't mine. I'd know Jessica had tricked me. I'd know somewhere out there, Derek was waiting for his chance to swoop in and play dad. I stayed at my parents' house for 3 days. Jason called Wednesday with more information. He'd done some research on Derek. Turns out Derek had gotten his act together, got promoted to senior project manager at a construction firm, bought a house in Cedar Park, got engaged last year. His fiancee's name was Amanda. They were getting married in June. So he's building a whole new life, and he wants Lily to be part of it. Looks that way. Can he sue for custody? He can sue for a paternity test. If it confirms he's a biological father, he can petition for parental rights. It won't be automatic. Texas courts prioritize the child's best interest and stability. You've been her father for 5 years. You're on the birth certificate. That counts for a lot. But if he pushes, this gets ugly. Thursday afternoon, Derek called me. I don't know how he got my number. Probably from Jessica. I almost didn't answer, but I needed to hear what he had to say. I needed to look the situation in the face. Marcus, it's Derek. Please don't hang up. I didn't say anything. Just waited. I know you got my card. I know Jessica told you everything. I need you to understand something. I never wanted to hurt you. I didn't even know Jessica was seeing someone when we hooked up that last time. By the time I found out she was pregnant and that you two were getting married, it felt too late to say anything. She begged me not to interfere. Said you'd be a great father. Said Lily would be better off with you. So I stayed away. Until now. I tried to stay away. I really did. But I see pictures of her, and she looks just like me. She has my grandmother's eyes. My mother's chin. I have a daughter, and she doesn't even know I exist. I'm getting married in a few months. Amanda wants kids. I want to be honest with her. I want to be honest with Lily. She deserves to know who her real father is. Something cold settled in my chest. I am her real father. I was there when she was born. I held her first. I taught her to walk, to say her first words, to ride a bike. You were nowhere because Jessica didn't give me a choice. You had a choice. You chose to walk away. You don't get to come back now that the hard parts are over. I'm not trying to take her from you. I just want to be part of her life. Co-parent. We can make this work. There's no we. You're a stranger, and you're going to stay a stranger. If you force me to, I'll get a lawyer. I'll get a paternity test. I have rights. Try it. See what happens. I hung up. My hand was shaking. This was really happening. Derek was going to fight. He was going to drag this into court. He was going to blow up Lily's life because he wanted to feel like a father without doing any of the work. Friday, I called Jason again. Told him about Derek's call. Jason sighed. Said we needed to get ahead of this. Recommended I get my own paternity test done. Know for sure what we were dealing with. If there was any chance Lily was mine, that changed everything. I agreed. Made an appointment for the following week. That weekend, I went home. Walked into my house. My life. Everything looked the same. Lily's toys scattered across the living room floor. Jessica's coffee mug on the kitchen counter. Family photos on the walls. But it all felt like a stage set. Like I'd been living in a play and didn't know I was acting. Jessica was in the bedroom. Looked like she hadn't slept in days. She stood when I walked in. Asked if we could talk. I told her there was nothing left to talk about. She'd said everything. Now I needed time to figure out what came next. She asked if I was leaving her. I said I didn't know. Asked if I still loved Lily. I said of course I love Lily. This wasn't about Lily. This was about the 6 years of lies Jessica had told. The conspiracy between her and Derek and both their families. The fact that I'd been the only one in the dark. What do you want me to do? Jessica's voice cracked. Tell me what to do to fix this. There's nothing you can do. You can't unlie. You can't give me back the truth. You took that choice away from me 6 years ago. Monday morning, I took Lily to a lab. Told her we were doing a fun science experiment. She thought it was cool. Didn't even cry when they swabbed her cheek. Swabbed mine too. The tech said results would take 3 to 5 business days. Fastest 3 days of my life. Slowest 3 days of my life. Both at once. Wednesday, the results came in. I was sitting in my car in the parking lot at work when Jason called. He didn't ask how I was doing. Just said, I'm sorry, Marcus. Derek is the biological father. 99.9% certainty. I sat there in my car for an hour. Didn't cry. Didn't scream. Just sat there. Everything I'd hoped for. Gone. I wasn't Lily's father. Not biologically. Not legally once Derek challenged paternity. I was just the guy who'd been there. The placeholder. The backup plan. That night, I sat Jessica down. Showed her the results. She cried. I didn't. I told her we were done. Not because I didn't love Lily, but because I couldn't trust Jessica ever again. Every word out of her mouth would be suspect. Every decision she made, I'd wonder what she wasn't telling me. Marriage requires trust. We had none. What about Lily? Lily is why I'm handling this calmly. I'm not going to blow up her world. We're going to co-parent. Separate as cleanly as possible. Tell her together when she's old enough to understand. But you and I are done. Jessica begged, pleaded, said she'd do anything. Go to therapy. Cut off Derek completely. Prove she could be trusted. I told her it was too late. Some things you can't come back from. This was one of them. The next few months were a blur. I moved into an apartment in South Austin. Small, 1 bedroom. Not much, but it was mine. Quiet, honest. Jessica filed for divorce. I didn't contest. We agreed to joint custody. Lily would spend weekdays with Jessica, weekends with me. I'd still see her, still be her dad in every way that mattered. But Jessica and I were over. Derek tried to push for a formal paternity acknowledgement and custody arrangement. I refused, told him through my lawyer that if he pursued legal action, I'd fight him with everything I had, make it as expensive and public as possible, drag his fiancée into it, make sure everyone knew he'd abandoned his child for 5 years, and only came back when it was convenient. Derek backed off. For now. Jason said he might try again later. But for now, we had a ceasefire. Jessica's family tried to reach out. Her mother called me crying, said she was sorry, said she'd told Jessica to tell me the truth from the beginning. I didn't believe her. Her sister sent a long text about how families make mistakes and forgiveness is important. I blocked her number. These people had looked me in the eye for 5 years, smiled at me, celebrated holidays with me, all while knowing my life was a lie. They didn't get to ask for forgiveness now. My parents were incredible. They never once suggested I walk away from Lily. They treated her exactly the same as always. Grandparents, fully present. When I picked Lily up for my weekends, they'd come over, bring her favorite snacks, play games with her. They didn't care about biology. She was their granddaughter. That was enough. Lily asked why Mommy and Daddy didn't live together anymore. Jessica and I sat her down together and explained in terms a 5-year-old could understand. Sometimes grown-ups decide they're better as friends than as married people. It doesn't mean we don't love her. It doesn't mean anything is her fault. She's the best thing that ever happened to both of us, and that will never change. She cried. We held her. And eventually, she adjusted. Kids are resilient like that. The divorce was finalized in October 2025, 7 months after that birthday card. We split assets 50-50. I kept my 401k in my car. She kept the house and her car. No alimony. Jason said I could probably fight the custody arrangement, argue that since I wasn't the biological father, I shouldn't have to pay child support. But I refused. Lily was my daughter. Biology didn't change that. I paid child support. Gladly. It wasn't about Jessica. It was about making sure Lily had everything she needed. Here's what nobody tells you about this kind of betrayal. It's not the big moments that break you. It's the small ones. It's seeing fathers and daughters at the grocery store and wondering if they're real or if there's a secret somewhere. It's hesitating before calling yourself a dad because some part of you wonders if you have the right. It's looking at your daughter and seeing a stranger's features and having to remind yourself that love isn't about DNA. But here's what else nobody tells you. You rebuild anyway. One day at a time. One weekend at a time. One bedtime story and scraped knee and school project at a time. You show up. You stay consistent. You prove through actions what words can't fix. It's been 10 months since I found that birthday card. I'm sitting in my apartment. It's small but comfortable. Lily's drawings cover my fridge. Her toys are in a bin by the couch. Her toothbrush is in my bathroom. This is her home, too. One of 2. But it's honest. There are no lies here. Lily's doing well. She sees a child therapist once a week. The therapist says she's adjusting better than expected. She still calls me dad. Still runs to me when I pick her up. Still asks me to read her favorite book about the dragon who was afraid of flying. We must have read that book 500 times. I've memorized every word. I'll read it 500 more if that's what she needs. As for Derek, he married Amanda in June. Jessica told me when I dropped Lily off one weekend. Derek and Amanda are expecting their own child now, a boy, due in March. Maybe Derek will finally get to be a father from the beginning this time. Maybe he'll realize what he gave up. Or maybe he'll just keep being Derek. Either way, it's not my problem. Jessica tried dating someone a few months ago. Didn't last. She calls sometimes late at night. Not often, just occasionally, asking how I'm doing, if I'm seeing anyone, if there is any chance. I keep the conversations short. Polite. We're co-parents. Nothing more. She made her choice. Now she lives with it. As for me, I'm doing better than I expected. I started seeing a therapist in June. Took me 3 months to admit I needed help, but it's been good. Helped me process everything. The betrayal, the grief, the complicated reality that I can love Lily completely while hating what Jessica did. Both things can be true. I even started dating again last month. Her name is Rachel. She's a teacher. We met at a coffee shop. She knows everything about my situation. I told her on the second date. Figured if it was going to be a deal breaker, better to know early. But she didn't run. Said her own family was complicated. Said she respected that I stayed in Lily's life. We're taking things slow, but it feels good. Feels like maybe I can trust again. Someday. Here's what I learned from all this. Trust your gut. When something feels off, it usually is. I ignored a dozen small red flags because I wanted to believe the best of Jessica. That was a mistake. Document everything when things fall apart. I kept every text message, every email, every piece of evidence. When Derek tried to push, I had ammunition. Don't make decisions when you're emotional. I took days, weeks, to think through what I wanted. That patience saved me from doing something I'd regret. And most importantly, kids are not pawns. Whatever anger I felt toward Jessica, I never let Lily see it. She didn't deserve that burden. She's innocent in all this. The hardest part is knowing I'll never get those years back. The years I thought I was building a family based on honesty. Turns out I was building it on sand. But the relationship I have with Lily now, that's built on bedrock. She knows I chose to stay. When I could have walked away, I stayed. That means something. Maybe it means everything. My name is Marcus Chun. I'm 32 years old. I'm a software engineer, a weekend dad, a man who learned that fatherhood isn't about biology. It's about showing up. It's about consistency. It's about loving someone even when the foundation you thought you were standing on crumbles. I'm not the father I thought I was. I'm something different, something harder one. And honestly, I think Lily and I are going to be just fine.